of Gaming has officially partnered with the ESA for E3 2021. IGN's Summer of Gaming is now all summer long. From major press conferences and announcements at E3 2021 to the IGN Expo with exclusive gameplay and reveals to exciting first looks at the hottest new games and in-depth developer interviews, IGN's Summer of Gaming has it all. IGN's Summer of Gaming begins right now.
Расскажи, тут начинается прямо сейчас. Что уже заканчивается. Так, слышь ты. Хватит там повторять. Молодец. Так. Ну что, ждем Бандаев. 9 минут до них. Пока придется терпеть вот этих вот людей с Е3. Хотя нет, они вроде ушли, сейчас будут по КД какие-то рекламки идти. Или нет? Кто это вообще?
Ninja, please be online, Ninja. Okay. Discord. Oh, here it is. Calling Ninja. Oh my god! It's you! Holy bleep! Dude, I can't believe you're here!
Did you just bleep yourself?
Yes!
Okay.
This is a very family-friendly convention. E3.
It is.
I am
E3,
so
very
excited.
So just so I know, for Cody, so you're a new host of G4. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Adam Sassler is my master, and I'm his Padawan. Can I fly by some jokes on you?
Let me see it. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. This is a really good joke. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Your career just left. Sorry, was that too much? What? You're not laughing. What's wrong?
Why you gotta go there?
These nuts?
Got him!
That was good. That's brand friendly.
It's a classic These Nuts joke,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Classic These Nuts joke, right? You gotta hit me with the Sugma,
Yeah.
the Ligma, okay? The Sugma, the Ligma, and then what's the other one?
Так,
Candace.
пожалуйста, 5 минут, пройдите
Classic,
побыстрее.
Candace, that's a good one.
And
Every day.
Е3, просто это Е3, это Е3.
questions for you.
Это Е3.
Well, first, I'm on E3, and as you can tell, I keep having to bleep myself out. I need to learn how to be brand safe.
I've seen some of your stuff.
Okay.
Игровая выставка, говорили они. Е3,
Right here that's like
выставка игр. Говорили они, там геймплей должны показывать.
Okay, wait, how about this?
Игры должны
Your parents are
показывать.
virgins.
Да.
I like it because I think that they would laugh at it, and the parents obviously are intelligent enough to know that they're not.
Это
because their spawn is
просто
sitting in front of them.
какое-то
That's actually okay.
ВП.
Yeah.
That's a Miko level
Пресс
comedy.
F for E3.
And also, what do kids like these days? Minecraft, Dream. They love Dream.
Oh my god, they're obsessed with Dream.
Yeah.
Наши не забыли, они
How about Dream,
лево вверху нам
Yeah.
написали,
they
что
could
это
fart into a
E3.
microphone and go viral.
I can fart.
There you go. Farting.
Oh, so that is funny.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's funny. That was a wet one.
Oh my god. Oh my
I think
god.
I just
Yikes.
Yikes. Yikes. Let's
See,
not talk about that. Let's not talk. Yeah.
I haven't even begun to peek. It's coming.
It's coming.
Now,
Oh my god, I can't wait.
You nailed this for brand safety. So
You think so?
You're ready.
I'm so ready. Got it. I'm really excited. This is awesome.
Miko, you're awesome. If you actually do want a game, I don't know. I'll follow you on Twitter if I don't already, and then just DM me or anything, and we can set something up. Okay?
Yay! That'd be so cool.
Bye.
Thank you. Streaming time. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Signing off. Goodbye.
Да, наконец-то.
Again,
А ты что? Уйдите, пожалуйста.
So you signed up willingly to work with CodeMiko. To be fair, when I signed
Да заткнитесь вы уже просто. Покажите гребаную презентацию. 5 минут геймплея и все, и мы пойдем.
No, it's her. G4 is gonna be great, folks.
I
We will
just
see.
can't wait to see your interaction with CodeMiko.
Honestly, I don't know if I'm ready for that, personally.
I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
So let me know when that goes down.
Oh,
I'll tell you what I can't wait to do.
Tell us, Greg.
Get to
What?
my PC and go to Steam. If you go to Steam right now, you'll find on the very front page an E3 link. There it is.
Офигеть,
Click
да
on it.
вы
And guess
что?
what?
Серьезно, что ли?
Every game we've
Вау,
shown
можно
has had
найти?
anything to do with during our
Класс,
4 days here.
класс,
Of course, you can wishlist, you can pre-order, you
Купить,
can have a good
мгм.
time. Wait for it. There it is. Go get to the rescue right there. Click on
Coming
that.
soon, coming soon, coming soon, все coming soon, блин. Больше половины в 22 году выходит. Идите в Steam, говорили они.
And for new reason, because they're great. So yeah, get all those games. Wishlist them all.
And hey, while you're spending money, have you ordered your E3 merch yet?
Гей
If not,
придет
check
на
out
E3, расскажет нам супер новость про Steam какую-то. Конечно, конечно. На минуту пришел, сказал, что у нас там Next Fest в Steam, ребят. Демки будут. Они мерч продают с E3. Мерч они, видите ли, продают.
But I've been told
Да
that
кому он
scary.
нужен?
And I
Кто
don't
вы
do
такие
well
вообще
when it's
люди?
scary. You know, you asked about CodeMiko. It's scary. I don't know if I can handle that.
That's a different kind of scary.
Yeah,
That
it
is
is.
Бандай Намко.
So I'm
Дом
looking forward to, you know, a different kind of tone
пыли.
of presentation.
Я не знаю. House of Ashes.
Yeah, if you're not familiar, everybody, of course, this is going to be Bandai Namco. I still want to say Namco Bandai. It's when they changed the name, it was years ago, and it still screws me up to this day. Of course, they're working with Supermassive Games on the Dark Picture Anthology, a whole bunch of different horror games that are coming out in quick succession. This is the third one in the anthology already, but if you didn't know them before, of course, Supermassive made Until Dawn, a breakout PlayStation hit that then led to this deal. Of course, they've done Man of Medan already. Now they did Little Hope, and now it's time to see more of House of Ashes. And so, yeah, this one's an exciting, different thing, right, Jackie?
Well, I have been closely monitoring every trailer, any gameplay that has dropped on this, and it is so scary. Like, I really cannot emphasize that enough. But for me, it has to be more than scary, and it has to be more than these terrifying aliens. For some reason, the story really hits with me, and you can also tell that they've invested so much time into this project. And I'm really hoping we get more of an inside look here, because I am on board, and it is bloody and gory and aliens, and yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah,
of course.
Not your cup of tea, but 100% mine.
You know what? Hey, I'm here for it,
Drink
though. I'm
it
gonna
up,
watch it. I'm gonna watch it all.
So, yeah.
Opposing forces get dropped into a Sumerian temple, right? And all sorts of supernatural elements start popping out. We'll see what's going on here.
Yeah.
So, Golden Boy, we need you to get psyched up. We need you to get ready
Oh
for the
no,
scares.
I'm excited to watch it. I'm gonna be very scared. I'm looking forward to it. I'm
Ребят,
gonna go over to the
свалите
media
просто
area,
отсюда, пожалуйста.
and I'm gonna, you know, yeah,
Да,
I'm gonna
минутку
glorify it,
дайте
'cause it's
хотя
gonna
бы
be great.
посидеть
Time, though,
спокойно.
for our next presenter, and here with their 2021 E3 presentation is Bandai Namco presents House of Ashes.
Я так понял, тут даже вообще Бандай даже и этой не будет никакой. Просто трейлеры тут дослали к ним. House of Ashes даже это, да. Ой, надо вот так сделать. Dark Pictures.
An ancient awoken from its slumber and is hungry for blood. Shall we see how many have fallen into shadow?
Satellite sweeps of the war zone have uncovered what appears to be an underground storage facility. But I strongly suspect it's where chemical weapons are hidden, so we need to move fast.
Ready to go dark.
To descend into the unknown alone is extremely brave.
Fan out, hold fire.
Or extremely foolish.
We're gonna psyop this shit.
Brothers in arms, or will it be a case of each man for himself?
Down, get down! They're up on the ridge! Return fire!
You teeter on the edge of an abyss. Your survival depends on the choices you make. They will be as a compass, guiding you through the unknown.
God's green earth.
Ну,
What nightmare have these luckless souls fallen into?
как всегда, будет кривенько.
Look out for what?
One by one.
Но зато смешно умирать будет.
Unless you can find the means to save them. Trapped beneath the earth, swallowed by the void. Will you find the path to salvation? Or be lost in the darkness forever?
Это все? Мы же это уже видели. О, не, это тоже мы видели. Ну мы же это видели. Мы же это видели. О, интервью! Интервью! Класс.
We're here at Supermassive to talk about the next game in the Dark Pictures
Класс.
anthology.
Ждал интервью.
I'm joined by exec producer Dan. How you doing?
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Right, so
Спасибо, что присоединились. Интервью-то это нам то, чего нам не хватало на E3. Больше интервью. Не, ну могли бы еще как бы в 4-й раз там Jurassic World 2 показать, почему бы нет. Или в 100-й. Чернобыль Ать, или как он там и тоже. 50-й раз показать. Почему бы нет? Реально. Но раз интервью, как бы.
It starts off with a military unit. They've got some new technology that can look for weapons of mass destruction underground. They think they've identified something in the Zagros Mountains in Iraq. And then as part of that, they come into conflict with an Iraqi unit. There's a pitched firefight. And then the two groups are plunged underground. There's an earthquake of some sort. And it's revealed that there's a hidden temple underground. You know, these big massive structures. But these different groups, they're all separated. Radio contact is lost. And they're submerged in this black darkness.
Where on God's green earth have we landed?
And then they're going to start hearing things and seeing things, and people are going to start disappearing.
What the just happened?
So this time it's a very real threat.
All of the Dark Pictures games, they all pull something from
В этот раз, да, будет реальную угрозу. В прошлый так.
So we love looking at
Просто приходы были.
readings, myths and legends and stories and doing our research. And we know our fans love it as well because there's something that they can link into afterwards. And I love doing that when I'm playing games or watching movies myself. So this one's set 4,000 years ago, the Akkadian Empire and this terrible evil that happened. We had this self-proclaimed god king, Naram Sin, and he essentially cursed his people. He sacked this temple and brought famine and devastation.
Опять будут видеть прошлое. Все это кажется глюком какого-нибудь газа, да? Не, ну в этот раз будет все реально. Реальная угроза будет. То же самое будет опять. Класс.
The military unit that you're playing as, they don't really know what they're coming up against. They're not human, they're bigger, they're larger, they're faster. The team aren't going to know if there's one or two of them or hundreds or thousands of them. And that's kind of the threat with this, you know, they've got guns, maybe they could try and take one of them down.
У них есть пушки. И могут попытаться. Что ты рассказываешь?
Exactly, yeah, a nest, as it were.
And it's been really fun to work on and see these things move around and how horrific they can be. They're different to us. They perceive the world in a different way. Getting little snippets of it in the darkness, and did I see that? Was it something that moved? Or is it actually just one of the other soldiers stuck in the catacombs?
Who's there?
We
Who's
like to try
there?
and misdirect people and things.
Nani?
Did you see something? Did you
Who's
not?
there?
And that's a great thing within horror, that you think you're going to be scared right now, and we're not going to scare you now. We'll scare you in a minute when you're not expecting it.
It's always coming.
Yeah, always.
So should we expect a huge amount of peril in the game?
Definitely. We love to do it. It's fun for us to work on. As horrific as it is, and we know that our fans love it as well. So yeah, there's at least 60 unique deaths, and there's a whole ton of variation.
60 уникальных смертей. Bah!
Different things happening depending on how you play it out. Getting ripped and shredded and torn, and because there's a firefight, there's going to be bullets flying as well, and all kinds of stuff. And it's not just the deaths; it's the gore that goes along with it, and lots of blood.
Так же много крови. В хорроре? Ничего себе. А еще они матерятся. Ничего себе. Вот это класс.
We're always evolving the dark pictures. We listen to a lot of the feedback from our fans, and also our team, what they want to do, how they want to push things forward. So we tried some stuff in Little Hope with more camera control, 360 cameras at certain parts, and we've really leaned on that again, and it really works well. In House of Ashes, lots of the game is set underground, and so these sort of corridors which are really tight and oppressive.
Creepy.
Yeah, indeed. So we've had to learn, because you take away the fixed cameras, and that takes away some opportunities for horror. But we've had to learn new tricks to scare people and ramp up the tension and the chance for jump scares, which we know some people love. We've also got a new torch mechanic.
Обожаем просто
It's military themed, so these guys
джампскеры.
weapons with torches mounted on them. We love the lighting that we do, the sort of really inky black darkness that we have, and sort of the contrast to the bright areas. And so you're going to need to lean on that torch to allow you to see where you're going, what the threat is, and that kind of stuff. We've also done things like added difficulty settings to this game. So in Little Hope we added QTE warning icons as an example, and we've got some really good positive feedback about that, but also some people want to turn that off. We want to allow you to play the game in your way. So with our accessibility settings and difficulty settings, if you want to have a more casual experience, you can change those settings.
Ну, мы добавили режим для казуалов, короче. Если вам не нравятся QTE-шки, можете еще нафиг отключить. Ну, просто отключите их. Лоу.
So Ashley was fantastic. She researched Rachel. She understood her when she came on the set, which is so refreshing. She knew her inside out. And Rachel is a flawed character, so she brought that through so fantastically. The rest of the cast were fantastic as well.
When we were looking for Joey, Salim helped me.
You didn't tell me this because...
You'd flip your shit.
We want you to connect to these characters and understand them as humans. We want them to seem real because they're real to us. We spend a long time designing them, and I don't mind if you hate any one individual character, because you don't like everyone in real life. But maybe you'll like them when you see the journey they go on.
Maybe you'll like them once they're dead and you feel bad about it.
And you feel bad about it, definitely.
Yeah.
But also we want you to save them. We want you to try and save them. We know that some people want to get everyone killed straight away, and that's fine. That's their playthrough. That's what they want to do. But can you get everyone out alive and save as many as you can?
There's a lot of replayability there.
Indeed,
Goes on forever. I like that. So, last question.
Наконец.
Favorite scene?
Favorite scene. So, Salim, our Iraqi soldier, and Jason Kolchak, one of the Marines that's there. There's a way that can play out, and a sort of contest between them, and you can make it go in a number of different ways.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
It's really emotional. Seeing them film it, I was like,
Warner changes.
Game. I think we've got something there. I think that's gold. And then, of course, I love scaring people. So I love the jump scares. I love the moments of tension that we bring. We can't hold you in that moment, so we've got some fantastic jokes in there as well to allow you to relax for a moment before we scare you again.
To take your mind off the imminent threat. I like that. Dan, thank you so much. This has been really cool to talk about, and I'm
Спасибо
sure,
тебе огромное.
I'm excited and terrified.
Ты нам объяснился. Спасибо. Офигеть, ждем игру. — 22 октября. Класс. Монстры прям можно купить уже фигурку. Отлично.
Before we dive in to House of Ashes, see how scared you got, of course, we want to thank Razer for being one of the E3 2021 sponsors. Of course, giving us these tired old blades nobody cares about. But this Blade 14 RTX 3080 built right in. Of course, the Razer
I'm taking that.
Thank you so much. No, I'm taking that.
Okay, we'll fight.
Okay, well,
we've done it before.
You know what? I'll take the hand-me-down. I'll be little brother. I'll take the outdated. Nobody wants these anymore, right? Doesn't worry. Golden Boy, you just saw the Dark Pictures anthology.
Yeah.
Your first glimpse of it. We have some reactions from you.
Oh, you do?
They were recording you. They said you were a little scared, not terrified.
Not terrified, thankfully, because it was just a normal trailer, which is fine. There's my face.
You're unsettled for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, you don't like that. You
don't like that. Not a fan of that one either. Nope. Nope. Yeah, I think that was one of the jump scares in the trailer. I got the willies there at the end too. Yeah. I am not crazy about horror. I was actually talking to the crew at the back, and I said, it really takes a very twisted mind to come up with these things. But it is impressive, though. Yeah. Right? You heard there in the interview, Dan saying like, "Oh yeah, I love the jump scares. I live for the jump scares." It's
60 different death animations is what that was something he wanted to make sure, because of course this is a choose your own adventure. If you've never played a Dark Picture anthology, right? You are moving characters in a third person. You jump around. It's like you're watching a movie. You make choices. Those choices leads to different permutations, different setups, different settings, which leads to different deaths or no deaths if you're really, really good. But that's the idea, right? Is that you're playing in your own horror movie is developing, and then gives you the reason to replay it.
Yeah. Also, a pleasant surprise for me was that Ashley Tisdale is in it. I didn't know that going into it, which I was like, wow, this is definitely an upgrade from High School Musical. This is definitely a quick turnaround. Big different genre. But yeah, and I think also because we had the VO panel yesterday, which was great. Yeah. And it just goes to show, right? Like the impact that video games are having. Hollywood stars coming in, lending their voice, lending their face, their acting, their skills to this, really bringing these characters to life is just going to add even more layers to this horror.
And that's a huge thing. If you've never played before, performance capture is a huge deal for Supermassive. They go through, they use the facial animation. They want you to feel like you're watching a movie. So we will see soon enough how the Dark Pictures anthology pans out this time around with House of Ashes. But for now, let's toss it over to the one, the only, Jackie Jane.
Brothers in arms, or each man for himself.
Опять
Survival depends on
так разве не началось?
Will you find the path to save everyone or be lost?
Когда все, что Bandai Namco привезли.
I'm sorry, I'm just
House of Ashes. Одну.
Dan, I saw you taking lots of notes. You were taking notes about the mechanics, actually, but I know you're really thrilled with the story as well. I mean, I am here for this. So.
I'm a big old history nerd, so I was super stoked to hear more about the setting. It's really tying in a lot of ancient lore about the Akkadian Empire. You have Naram Sin, this
Ну, вас нахрен, где игры?
Empire, and desecrated this temple, and now it's coming back to haunt us in modern day.
Я понял.
It's also interesting to use the Iraq War.
Ну вот, будем, наверное, с чатом смотреть, как бы. Тут тоже все офигевают немножко.
Because you're tapping into sort of Mesopotamian mythology of Pazuzu, this king of wind demons who's tormenting all of these soldiers, and I'm really excited to see what they can do.
Одни резидент-слиперы. Где Бандай? Реально, где Бандай? Что это за фигня?
I'm thinking that if I'm ever trapped in like a dark cave, I'm probably going to stick next to Dan because he understands what we should be doing. King of what now? You're looking up all this history on Pazuzu?
He's the king of wind demons. No big deal.
Come on, everybody knows that. I don't even know what the king of wind demons is. What was it?
Oh, he's Pazuzu.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
You may remember him from The Exorcist as well.
Yes. Okay. Avi, you were obviously a big fan of the server like Dan, just like I could go on. Exactly. I was like, okay. But Avi, we've been talking about Resident Evil Village like at length. We both like horror survival. But also like when someone's playing with us, and I thought that it's great that it's co-op. So we can be scared together while we play.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be sitting behind Dan and watching him play because that's exactly what I did with Until Dawn, because I'm like, cool, I can't hold a controller and, try to guide these teenagers to safety. I'm going to step off branch and individually kill them all. But Dan was going into like the history of all of it, and I'm going as like,
Понимаю.
that's a little too close, and I didn't pass all my history classes, but I
Ну
hope
по идее
that
здесь
Pazuzu
должен
doesn't,
Бандай
pop
быть,
up
но
anywhere in a textbook.
что-то
But something that was really
их
interesting for me when
нету
we were going through the
немножко.
trailers and going through that little dev talk is that they showed us Pazuzu. They showed us the monster. They showed us what it looks like inside the cave. So there's part of me wondering, like, usually with horror games, you don't show people the scary right away. So I'm wondering if maybe there's like a hidden layer of something else that they're not showing us yet that's going to catch people off guard, thinking that they're going in going like, I did my research, I know everything.
I know how to deal with a Pazuzu. This is easy.
I know. So you two would fall into the depths together, and then I would somehow be stuck with Michael, and he'd be like talking about JRPGs, and I'd be like, oh my goodness, we're in a world of hurt right now.
If I make a deal with the devil, I can turn into a very attractive protagonist, and then I could probably possess Pazuzu if I do negotiations like you can in SMT5. No, anyway, like one thing I want to say about this one is the free cam controls. That's different for Supermassive, so I'm gonna wonder how that works because I feel like they're very in control of camera angles and what you see before you make choices. I'm sure there's like transition phases where you actually make your choices and all other stuff. It's just something new from them, so I just want to see how that plays out, especially when I'm with a bunch of other people trying to get very skilled.
And Damon, I know you're all about retro games, but I also know you love a good story. I know for me, I felt like this had a lot of heart. There was dialogue that we saw, and it really hit me to my core.
Xbox and Nintendo got me excited.
I love horror movies, I love horror games.
Like.
I'm kind of a gore hound. I love blood and guts, and I love kill gags. So like, I'm looking forward to see all the inventive and clever ways that Pazuzu is going to kill our soldier friends.
Oh boy. I just like saying Pazuzu, even though it's absolutely horrifying. Yes. Anyways, Goms, I can't talk. Games have changed and evolved so much over the years, and with those changes, so has the coverage of our favorite games. Outlets like PC Gamer, IGN, Polygon, and GameSpot have all led the way
Это
in gaming
biggest,
coverage, and
biggest.
for the first time ever,
Марио
the
плюс
summaries,
Rabbids.
the editors-in-chief of all those organizations,
Самый большой анонс, самый ведь вообще человеку многого не нужно для счастья. Опять этот E3 эксклюзив.
Hello, welcome back to E3 2021. My name is Chris String. I run gamesindustry.biz, which is one of the world's
Кто
biggest
ты такой
video game
вообще?
business websites.
Кто ты такой? Где Бандай? А я что, ошибся, блин, трансляции?
From IGN, GameSpot, Polygon, and PC Gamer. But rather than me do the introductions, I like to pass over to the panel. Hello, everybody. Who are you?
Кто вы?
How did you get here?
Кто вы такие?
I'm Christopher
Полигон.
That's my
Кто
full
вы?
birth name.
Что вы
Sounds
тут
like Christmas
делаете?
plan
Где
if you say it
игры?
really fast.
Это
I'm
E3
the
или
editor-in-chief
что? Или
of
куда я
Polygon.com,
попал вообще?
and it's a
Ребята.
website.
Thanks. This is Evan Lottie over at PC Gamer. I'm the editor-in-chief.
PC Gamer он. GM, собрались они тут. Чё вы тут делаете?
Halloween Twitter name that someone gave to me, which is Tina Amenittyville. So that's all I got.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Randolph Ramsey. I'm the editorial director from GameSpot. I go by Randy in this country.
Ну вот эти люди, которые ведь всем играм 10 из 10 ставят. Ну вот они можете взглянуть в их лица, в их глаза честные.
Sort of represent to you? I don't know if I want to pick on somebody, but Randy, maybe.
It's difficult to separate E3 as a professional working in the industry and as a fan. I've been in this industry for so long that it's E3 to me is usually just a lot of late nights, being overworked, not having enough sleep. But I think, outside of the professional stuff, I think E3 for me, it allows me the chance to feel like just a regular old fan of video games. I still get hyped about stuff.
Офигенно чувствовать себя старым фанатом игр на E3 21 года. Офигеть.
Like a key announcement, I can sort of forget that there's all this work that I need to do around this big event and just like be a fan of video games again.
Yeah, having that in-person reaction, like you're typically sitting, if you're at a press conference, which I think probably for many of us, we maybe stopped attending them in like a physical capacity and maybe had like, we're in a war room of sorts with our team. But in general, just being able to sit next to your team and everyone's like reacting and then quickly scrambling to their keyboards again because they need to be typing up the news. That's obviously the primary element of it. But for me personally too, it's a bit of a reunion because we'll all see each other in person. But it is that opportunity to have that one space, that 1 week. We all agree we're going to take that time and be in one space together and be able to connect.
Yeah, I think E3 is the center of gravity too, right? I mean, in an environment, we saw what happened last year when what happens when there's not an E3, right? Everyone kind of goes it alone, and there's definitely some pros to that, but I think from a coverage perspective, we like having, I mean, you guys probably all share the same attitude. We like having as much time as possible to, do an interview, cover something, and not be rushed off to the next thing back to back to back. But there is kind of an efficiency for us, I think, and the viewer, the consumer, and having everything neatly collected under one roof for, 3 or 4 days. The intensity and kind of spectacle
Вот
that
он,
comes
ведь
as a result of that, I
те
think, can be
3,
genuinely fun
которые
and
мы
exciting.
заслужили.
So,
Те
I mean, at
3,
least in North
которые мы
America, it looks like E3
заслужили.
will
Вот
continue to be
как
that
оно
center of
выглядит.
gravity
Вот
for the
оно.
foreseeable future.
For better or worse, you get reminded very blatantly that, like, this is a human enterprise. There are some real people who are putting in some, like, long hours trying to make for the best possible event for all of us.
Well, this year is a digital event, and there are lots of questions about what E3 becomes in the future. There's a lot of chatter about that. So what do you hope to see from it come sort of 2022 or beyond that? What are your hopes for the future of E3, and what would you like to see?
It has to become more social, and I think that is a thing that E3 was like leaning towards. I think it's like important to remember like what function E3 served back in the day. In the 90s, video games were for children or dorks, and mainstream publications covered it once a
Что,
year.
серьезно?
That all video game companies need to put
Там
all
еще
their money
просто
into
House
one
of Ashes
basket.
показали все.
Pray that the
Это
New York
блядь
Times
вся
put that story, right?
презентация
Now it's
нафиг
the
Бандай
opposite.
Намко.
Sure, newspapers are still catching up, but otherwise, video games are the center of culture.
Это вообще,
The Guardian wrote about
это
that.
реально.
And because of that, E3's purpose no longer has to be, hey, let's get people excited for this one day. Let's put all of our money into it. It has to be something different, which it seems to be more celebratory, right? Like that.
А нафига это в расписании было?
So I hope that whatever we see it become in the future is, like you said, Chris, more inclusive. That it is this thing that is bringing people in, that is the center of gravity, that is serving a larger communal purpose.
And it is significant, obviously, despite the drawbacks of everything, of all of us being in a pandemic that's going to be running about 2 years long by the end of this, or hopefully just 2 years long by the end of this. I think it is significant that when we are being in this digital format now, I think it's nice that more people can connect. Obviously, it loses some of that social element. So I too, like Chris, hope that is retained, and I selfishly hope that we all go back in person. But I think keeping some elements digital does help kind of connect to a broader community. And there can be various aspects of that. Obviously, the press conferences are something that are typically digitally available to begin with. But are there some of those panels that have been introduced, or some other versions of connectivity or versions of celebrations that is something that people can experience in person or at home too, to feel like they're a part of that entire celebration of the festivities, of the news breaking, and they can get a sense of that same excitement that they may be feeling home alone because for whatever reason they're not able to attend.
I'm kind of hopeful that the live aspect becomes a lot more like Comic-Con in the future, in which it's much more a celebration of games culture and community.
Celebration. Что? Что празднуют? Ты собрался? Ты видел вообще эту E3? Алло, ты вообще кто? GameSpot? Вы там вообще в своем уме? Что вы праздновать собрались? Что вы собрались праздновать? Да похороны уже устраивать надо. Это E3, блядь, ваши. Собрались они в следующем году, ёбнуть. О, у нас E3 будет в следующем году не онлайн. Представляете, выставка у нас будет. Кому она больше нужна? Ваши E3 после этого года
How far
нафиг.
do you think they should go in that direction? Like, would you just like to see them take a full-on Gamescom approach where there are, potentially tens of thousands of people, having a full public day, dedicated to, that's really servicing the public more than the trade side, the business side.
Никому.
Yeah, I think a traveling E3 show that goes around all year and visits multiple cities.
Some people hate you for that one.
Well, luckily, I'm not in the USA. But yeah, and I realized that PAX does this to a certain extent as well. But I think what E3 could be is still have that spotlight on the biggest and the best things, and allowing people to as I said, get hyped, get excited about their favorite hobby.
Yeah, and just to build off that really quick, I think the thing that developers are going to have to ask themselves now, and we've really hit this turning point culturally, is can we let go of the secrecy, right? Because Comic-Con works because they put talent in front of people. But when you put talent in front of people, suddenly they have leverage. And that means that, they're worth more money. I mean, just to be like very blunt. And that goes for voice actors, that goes for designers. And I think there is a version of E3 in all conferences that makes a lot of sense where, yeah, we don't need to have vertical slices for every game. They cost a ton of money. They take up a ton of hours. There can be a distraction. But if these people become celebrities in their own right, that can take their place. That can create these Comic-Con environments. And I would love to see that. I think it would be healthy
5
for
FPS на
industry as a
вебке.
whole for people to actually be, again, in front of their games. And not just
Сидит он. Вебку себе купи.
Evan, actually, my
Нормальную.
you mentioned the Gamescom model, but as a business journalist, I actually find I love E3. I love all the excitement of it. I love the buzz of it. But as a business journalist, it's a nightmare. It's like it's busy and noisy, and I want to talk about sales figures, right? And it's there's almost two parts of me. There's the fan that wants to see the big booths and the exciting, all the noise and stuff, and then there's the part of me that wants to have a little quiet place to have a cup of coffee and a bit of Wi-Fi and a bit of networking.
Все 4 дня.
I think I would like
Чат E3 в Resident Sleeper. Ну, кроме Microsoft, Xbox и Bethesda. Там единственная презентация, где были игры нормальные. Ведь остальные, блядь, 3 дня просто Resident Sleeper. Просто Resident Sleeper везде. Ну, Nintendo еще там кому-то понравилось. Типа, у кого есть Nintendo Switch. И все. И все. Это E3 наш, да.
Families. I see lots of, thinking back to the PAXs I've gone, it's like mothers and daughters and fathers and sons that have like
Знаешь,
decided
что
to
теперь
take a
как бы с
vacation
того
to
дня,
this event because
с
they're
того
a huge
года,
fan of, GameX.
официальный маскот
And they kind of hang out
E3
and
это
collaborate.
Resident Sleeper.
And I mean, like, it's interesting to get a sense of like our kind of multifaceted feelings in this conversation because like GDC is probably my favorite event of the year because the press is not the focus at all. There's not like big announcements or anything. And yet we as press get some of our best material out of GDC because it's an environment where game developers are just talking to each other and we're kind of listening in. And it's an environment where game developers like have their guard down. They're not, engaged in the deep secrecy that I think Chris is referencing there very often, right? They're doing panels. They're sort of, talking up their design and, their narratives and like, what's kind of interesting them in the moment. And that's a great environment for interviewing and discovering stuff. So I don't know. I mean, whichever direction E3 takes long term, I just think it sort of has to not compromise and sort of meet in the middle of all this stuff, but really have clarity and identity.
Well, I'm very much aware of the time, so I'm going to wrap up with a sort of fun last question. So, what is a memorable E3 interview that you can share with us?
Mine's a little sad in retrospect, but I still very much enjoyed the conversation that I had. It was before No Man's Sky came out, and I interviewed Sean Murray, and he was so excited to talk about this game and to talk about all the procedural generation and that work that was going into it. Alongside that interview, he had one of his programmers like showing me behind the scenes how that procedural generation worked. I thought it was such an interesting way of doing an interview where I was actually seeing behind the scenes elements of what was actually going into the game while he was speaking to them in what was a really eloquent way. So it's only a little sad in retrospect because obviously there are a lot of moments where developers kind of maybe regret, like, did I say too much? Did I accidentally promise something that I wasn't intending on promising? But I think ultimately at the core, for me in that experience, like I could just see his passion and I could just see his pride for what his team was working on. And I think that there's something still, really genuine and true and heartfelt about that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my favorite interviews are usually the conversations that happen
Мое любимое
months or
интервью.
bars afterwards, because
Да
E3
E3,
interviews can
мое
be
любимое интервью.
very
Это у вас,
varied.
конечно,
People are very press trained
вопросики тут.
for them. So I guess I'll share something else, which is my favorite moment of E3, and it's very ego-driven. But a few years ago, I was at E3 at the front of the main hall, right? And it was the final day, and I was doing a direct-to-camera of like, hey, this is E3, I'm going to wrap it up. And at this point,
Последний
I'm like
вопрос. За что?
running on no sleep,
За
and I'm like
что?
covered in sweat. I look like an absolute mess. And from
Зачем?
behind
Почему?
me, this very lovely, tall, and handsome man
Значит,
comes
ни один
around
вопрос
front,
получается.
steps in front of our camera as I'm preparing, bops me on the nose, and just goes, "Too cute," and then walks off. And it was like it was the nicest I've ever felt in my entire life.
Like you, Chris, the best conversations at E3 happen outside the floor, outside these kind of formal settings. Dean Hall is someone who's just an absolutely unfiltered, water hose of information and design thoughts. Like anytime I sit down with him, it's a chance to sort of get the sense that he's peering into his sketchbook. I mean, this is someone who's fundamentally optimistic and imaginative, and half the things that he tells you, like his idea for a mountaineering game or because he'd climb Mount Everest, like they're not going to come true, but it's still like just someone who's just constantly dreaming and is like completely removed from that scripted, media trained personality that we're referring to here.
Real quick for me, just like Chris, not the best, but for me the most embarrassing, having to play Sekiro in front of Miyazaki, and then do an interview. Couldn't get past the first enemy I came across, and then I had to do a 50-minute chat with him. So that was lovely.
Well, thank you so much. That's it from us. Thank you to Tina, Randy, Ben, and Christopher. Thank you so much. Do check out all of our websites.
Наконец-то. Свалите отсюда, свалите, свалите. Я не верю. Я не верю, что они просто один трейлер привезли. Давайте. Что-нибудь. Бандай, пожалуйста. Ну не один трейлер. Не один же трейлер. Не может же такого быть. Или может.
IGN's Summer of Gaming is now all summer long. From major press conferences and announcements at E3 2021 to the IGN Expo.
Да. Чего вы сюда Гарри Поттера-то втюхали? Где он был? Где вот этот Фейбл? Где? Не было ничего. Начинается прямо сейчас. Да уже. 16 какое же? 16 число уже закончилось все. Опять, это уже по второму кругу крутят.
I love Pac-Man 99. It's so fun, and the thing is, I'm super competitive too. I'm just like, bet, you think you're gonna get top 20? Get out of here. Get out of my face. Get bunched on. My first session, I got like top 30.
Нет, ну, походу, мы как бы нашли лучшую презентацию на E3. Бандай Намко, по-моему, 10 из 10. Так много игр. А трейлер для House of X. Нет, даже не трейлер. Интервью привезли на E3.
Thanks to our sponsors at DoorDash. Get more from your neighborhood, from restaurants and convenience to grocery and corner stores. All right, folks. Well, we got some more great games coming our way. No question about it. But what is it that draws us into a game's story? Is it a whodunit, maybe
Подожди.
becoming a heroic protagonist, perhaps? Or
Подожди.
maybe it's just a story that makes us
Может
laugh, that
быть.
keeps us coming back. When we return, more on what stories we love in our games.
Да хрененько, это не Бандай Намко. Не было даже значка. Что это? Я понял. Еще раз. Еще раз, реально. 5 минуты не прошло. Минуты не прошло. Все. Смешно, смешно. Спасибо. Спасибо, Е3. За этот великолепный год. Summer of Gaming, да. Ух ты, как интересно. Сейчас будет игры, да, нарезочка. Неожиданно. Это просто позор какой-то. Позорище, ведь они E3. Это даже не E3, это все. Это F3 просто теперь называется эта выставка. Следующий год. Офигенно. Жду, когда они откроют двери свои для оффлайн выставки. Сколько людей туда придет, наверное, миллионы просто толпиться будут нафиг. Удачи. Удачи, в общем. Е3 дальше. Очень интересно будет посмотреть. Да, все, заткнись нафиг. Еще раз показать решили, как бы. В 4-й раз подряд всего лишь. В 4-й раз подряд. Подумаешь. Может, кто не видел. 4-й день Е3. 4-й день. Просто гениально. Я это даже выложу. Специально выложу, чтобы запомнить. Запомнить эту Е3. Чтобы больше никаких Е3. Все. Никаких Е3 больше. Вот такой он. 21 год. Отлично. Отличные презентации. Много игр мы увидели сегодня. Офигенно. Завтра у нас уже среда. Что там, когда этот... Steam Next Fest, как он там называется-то, с демками. 16 или 17, по-моему. Гейб же так вышел, рассказал нам о нем. Целую минуту, что я не запомнил. Так что да. Ну, значит, все, возвращаемся. Возвращаемся к играм. Завтра у нас должен быть маунт, по идее, но его не будет. Мы сегодня его закончили. Посмотрели обнову. Завтра, я не знаю, что. Что-нибудь будет. Что-нибудь будет. Какое завтра? Сегодня, получается. Так что до сегодня. Ну, он сегодня это Локи выйдет. 2-я серия. Так что да. Хоть что-то. Хоть как-то этот день станет краше. Так что да, офигенно, конечно. Все, ребят, бандаев не будет. Расходитесь. До сегодня. Пока.